You know, usually when we sit down to do one of these, I've got a stack of papers in front of me, academic articles, maybe a book. You know the drill. We're parsing text to find the signal.
Yeah, exactly. But today is, a little different.
It really is. We're not looking at a story about technology.
No, we are looking at the technology itself, a primary source.
We are looking at a single digital artifact. It's a screenshot, but not of a website you or I would normally visit. This is a back-end tool called the Moltbook AI Agent Manager.
And yeah, to be clear for everyone listening, this is not something you download from the App Store. This is the kind of screen you'd only see if you were, like, in the server room.
Or maybe you clicked a link you really weren't supposed to.
Right. It's an internal tool.
It's stark. It's ugly, frankly. It's purely functional. And our mission today is to perform a bit of a forensic analysis on it. We're just going to try and decode what this tool does, who it's for, just by reading the labels on the screen.
Which is a fantastic exercise because UI text, user interface text, it's almost never accidental, especially in tools like this.
How so?
Well, you trip away all the marketing fluff, all the make the world a better place slogans, and you're just left with the raw engineering intent. The labels tell you exactly what the system thinks it's doing.
Okay, so let's start at the very top. Before any of the buttons, we have the address bar, the URL.
Right, and the address is Moltbook Agent Manager 634406840.us west1.run.app.
To me, that just looks like a bunch of internet gibberish. But you're saying there's a story hidden in that string of characters.
There absolutely is. Let's break it down backwards. That ending, -.run.app, that's a massive signature.
A signature for what?
That's the default domain for Google Cloud Run.
Okay, so it's hosted on Google. Why is that important?
Well, it's not unusual, but it tells us about the architecture. Cloud Run isn't just hosting a website like a simple blog. It uses something called serverless containers.
I've heard that term serverless. What does that actually mean in this context?
So with a normal website, you have a server that's on 24/7, waiting for visitors, costing money. But serverless means the code just sits there, dormant, until it's actually needed.
Until it gets a job to do.
Exactly. When a request comes in, Google instantly spins up a container. Think of it like a mini computer. It runs the code and then it shuts it down. It's ephemeral.
So it just pops into existence to do a task and then vanishes.
Precisely. And that's a very specific choice for an AI agent manager. It suggests this isn't a dashboard you just leave open all day. It suggests bursty, high-intensity workloads.
Right, like you might need one computer for a minute or...
Or you might need 10,000 of them for 5 minutes to handle a huge wave of tasks. Cloud Run handles that scaling automatically.
So this thing is built to scale. It's designed to handle a flood of activity without crashing.
Correct. And the geography matters too.
Right.
Us West 1, that's a Google data center in Oregon. So we know where the brain of this thing physically sits. But the part that really catches my eye is that long number.
The 634406840 looks like a serial number.
It's basically a project ID in Google Cloud terms. And the fact that it's right there in the URL tells us this is a deployment. This isn't, www.moltbook.com. This is a specific instance spun up for a specific purpose.
Which implies there could be others. A 68401, a 68402.
Highly likely, yeah. This whole URL structure just screams internal tool. It hasn't been dressed up with a nice domain name. We're looking at the raw machinery.
Okay, so a cloud-hosted, scalable, ephemeral machine running in Oregon. Now let's get to the name of the tool itself. The manager says, Moltbook AI Agent Manager.
And the key word there, I think, is manager.
I got stuck on that, too. Because usually, the AI we interact with is an assistant or a chatbot. I talk to it. But manager implies a hierarchy.
It completely shifts the power dynamic. If you're a manager, you aren't the one doing the work. You're supervising the entities that are doing the work. And notice the plural agent manager.
Ah, right, not agent manager, agents.
You don't have a manager for one script. You have a manager for a fleet.
So it stops being a conversation partner and becomes a resource. It's the difference between talking to a single customer service rep and being the person in the control tower watching the entire call center floor.
That is the perfect image. And if you look right below that, the interface calls this screen the broadcast terminal.
Broadcast terminal. The words they're choosing here are fascinating. Terminal feels so retro. Like out of an 80s movie, get me to the terminal.
It does, but in software, terminal has a really specific meaning. See, a dashboard is passive. You look at it. A terminal is active. It's where you input commands.
So it's not for browsing, it's for driving.
Exactly. And then you have the word broadcast.
Which is one to many.
Yes. You don't broadcast a private message. You broadcast a signal. This suggests the user of this tool isn't trying to have a nuanced one-on-one conversation. They are pushing information out.
So, if we connect that back to the serverless part, we have a scalable infrastructure designed to broadcast out to the world through a whole fleet of managed agents.
We are seeing the industrialization of influence. This is not one person typing out posts. This is a system designed to amplify a message.
The industrialization of influence, that's a heavy concept, but I think the next section on the screen really proves that theory. We get to the middle, and the language shifts from, like, retro tech to something that sounds almost medical.
You're looking at the response injector.
Yes. Response injector. I mean, why injector? Why not just reply box or comment tool? Injector sounds so invasive, like a needle.
Or a fuel pump. Or a computer virus. In computer science, we talk about SQL injection. In almost every technical context, injection means inserting code or data into a system that wasn't originally part of it.
So it implies force, or that the thing being inserted is foreign to the host.
That is the key distinction. Look, if I write a reply to your post, I'm participating. I'm part of the social fabric. But if I inject a response, I am inserting a payload. It totally removes the humanity from the act of communication.
The social media platform just becomes a database to be written to.
A host body, exactly. And what are we injecting into? The input field right there says it all. Enter a target post ID or URL to load protocol context.
Okay, this is the smoking gun for the whole workflow.
It is. Target post ID. This confirms it. The Molbook agent manager interacts with the external web. It targets posts. That word almost certainly means social media. So the operator finds a tweet, copies the URL, pastes it in here.
And then the system loads protocol context. Now, context is a big AI buzzword, but what does loading context actually mean here technically?
It's likely a lot more than just reading the tweet. This is almost certainly referring to a technique called RAG retrieval augmented generation.
Okay, RG. Let's unpack that.
Well, a standard AI model,
Yeah.
like a base LLM, its knowledge is frozen in time. It might have stopped learning a year ago. It doesn't know what happened 5 minutes ago online.
Right.
So loading context means this tool probably spins up what's called a headless browser. It's a web browser controlled by code. It goes to the target URL, and it scrapes everything, the text, the comments.
It reads the room.
It completely reads the room. It turns that web page into data, and then it feeds all that fresh data into the AI's short-term memory before it asks it to generate a response. That's the context.
So before the agent writes a single word, it knows exactly what's been said, who said it, and what the general vibe is.
Exactly. Without RAG, if you just told an AI, reply to this URL, it might say something generic like, great post, which on the modern internet,
Looks like a bot. Instantly.
it looked like a bot. But if the tool loads context, the agent can say, well, I disagree with what user X said in the third comment about the inflation rate. And that looks human.
That is incredibly sophisticated.
Yeah.
And a little unsettling because the injection is designed to blend in perfectly. It's camouflage.
That's the goal. And notice the word protocol is back. Protocol context. And at the top, broadcast terminal protocol. And if we look down at the bottom, protocol telemetry.
I wanted to ask about that. Protocol is the most repeated word on this screen. Why that specific word?
A protocol is a rule set. It's a rigid procedure. If you and I are just chatting with a bot, we can say whatever we want. But if an agent is operating under a protocol, it's following a script.
It sounds almost military. Follow the protocol.
It does. In this context, the protocol is probably a system prompt, a set of hidden instructions that the AI cannot disobey. It might define the persona, the political stance, or the key points to make.
So the protocol could be something like, argue against this policy, but always use polite language.
Precisely. Or shift the sentiment of this conversation from negative to neutral. The protocol is the mission objective. The context is the battlefield. The injector is the weapon.
And the human manager isn't writing the replies. They're just setting the protocol and picking the targets.
They're the strategist.